Last mouthful. Porridge. Yum! Morning everyone. Yeah, I just thought I'd have my breakfast in here today because it was another really cold start to the day, but the sun has come out and the light has been beautiful in here this morning. So I thought, yeah, tuck myself up on the sofa and have my breakfast. That, as part of my new, all my new routines, all my new things I'm doing, excuse me a sec, that this one particular little bit of routine is so easy to do. I'm still not a breakfast eater in terms of as soon as I rise. It takes me a good 2 or 3 hours before I can face eating anything. So, gosh, today is skedaddling already. It's already 11. I've been up since, it's a struggle this morning. I got up at 8. It was another restless night, shall we say. So 8 o'clock, not too bad. It's not the perfect 7:30, but yeah, I mean, like I was saying the other day, I'm sticking with my be in bed, lights off, etc by 11. I'm really trying to change my sleep pattern and improve sleep. It had been going okay, but then the last few nights just really struggling to either get to sleep or stay asleep. The temptation is, of course, once it gets to sort of midnight, 1 in the morning, and I'm still not asleep, the temptation is to just give up and go, you know what, I can't sleep, turn the light on and read. And then I would happily read till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and I'd be right back to square one in terms of starting out again in trying to change this terrible sleep pattern I have. So I've resisted the temptation. I have resisted the temptation. It's tough, but I sort of say to myself, while I'm lying there awake in the dark, I say, well, at least you're horizontal and you're sort of relaxed. Yes, but the breakfast thing, so I'm not having it as soon as I get up at 8 o'clock. Like I said, it's nearly 11. That doesn't matter, that's okay. I've had my breakfast. I just have it a bit later than other folk. Although having said that, just actually, and I wonder if this makes a difference as well with sleep. Obviously going to bed earlier, it almost dictates that all my meal times shift forward a bit. So instead of having my supper at 8 or 9 in the evening, I try and have my supper by 7. Try and eat by 7 o'clock. I tried instigating 6 o'clock as my dinner / supper, whatever word you use. Yeah, I tried to set 6 o'clock as my supper time, but it was just too early. It was just too early for me. I'm still busy with work and yeah, it just didn't feel right. So 7 o'clock. And I hope that by shifting all the food eating times earlier, that's also going to help with the sort of settling down and getting to sleep earlier. I mean, God knows why I'm sharing it. Why am I sharing this? Well, I'm sharing it because I know from responses in the past that there are any number of you who also really struggle with this, trying to sleep normally or trying to sleep in a way that fits with the majority of society where, business hours are 9 to 5, so you need to be up at 8. Even if you're retired or you're out of work at any point, you still need to fit in with business hours just because of things like making appointments. I'm not even going to go there today, but making appointments to see a doctor or dentist, anything like that. Any business call you might have to make, you might have to ring your energy supplier, for example. Coming on to that today as well. So yesterday, or it was my yesterday, last time you saw me, and yeah, so I don't have any more news. Honestly, when anything happens in terms of the house move, I will let you know. So if I don't mention anything, there's nothing to mention. But after I said cheerio to all of you yesterday, I sat down and did the welcome pack for my buyer, and I included obvious things in it, as mentioned in that video, things like the meters, the stopcock, isolator switches, all of that. But I also gave her a list of everybody in the building and their email details for contact. And I let her know about my neighbour downstairs, Pauline, who's just brilliant. She's an absolutely gorgeous woman. She's been a fantastic neighbour all these years. She's a friend. So I left a message in this welcome pack to say, if you've got any questions, any concerns about anything to do with the building, any of that stuff, just tap on Pauline's door and she'll help you with everything. So that was all done. I'm now going to get manuals out for her. But in terms of my bills, so I need to start thinking about, I've got some calls to make today, but as I was mentioning, it's a little bit tricky before I've got an actual completion date. But I'm right now, I'm on the cusp of, do you remember in the budget video I was talking about that perfect window for organising your insurance is 21 days before renewal? Well, I'm at that. So I need to get in touch with my insurance company anyway to say, look, I'm moving and the situation will be very different, as in, you know, top floor to ground floor, main road, busy main road here to quiet side street. So that's part of my job list today, is to get in touch with those kind of companies where I'm going to continue with their service, but the service, I've got an itch between my shoulder blades. I'm going to use the doofer. The service may change slightly because of the change of address and the. Anyway, you get what I mean. But I also was thinking about, I was referring to the list. I made a list months ago even, of all the services which will need to be carried over. Some of them will stop. Some of them. I might want to look for a better deal, all that sort of thing. And I suddenly thought, I've got so many things in my brain at once at the moment. That's why I need my list. I got my house folder out, which is sort of like an A to Z expandy folder with paper copies of things, bills, like council tax, my water bill, all those things. But I can't find some of them. I can't find my council tax or my water bill. And I think they're the ones I've had to send. I think I had to give them to the solicitor as proof of ID or proof of residency or something. I don't know. And I've not had back. Now, I think I took photographs of them, so they're on the computer. But yeah, it suddenly occurs to me I don't have account numbers for things like my London Borough of Lewisham account number. I don't know what it is. I don't know what my Thames Water account number is. So I hope I've got those as pictures. But I'm glad I've thought about that today, because yeah, it all boils down to that thing of being prepared, isn't, you know, I've given myself enough time. Right, take a deep breath, Vivi, calm down. What I'm trying to do today is get organised so that in the last sort of 7 days or 5 business days of being here, in those last 5 business days, I know exactly who to ring. So I know the business's phone number, I've got my account number ready, etc., to say, this is the day I'm moving, so I need to cancel my account for this property. I need to start an account for my new property. That makes sense, doesn't it? So today is I'm preparing all the information I will need when it comes to the final countdown, when it all suddenly I have to rush to get everything done. So calmly and quietly today, I'm going to make sure I have discovered all the discrepancies where I need to scrabble to find information. Scrabble for the information today, so that when the move actually happens, I can calmly get things swapped over. But this, I don't know where those two, because they're two of the only things I have as paper bills these days, my council tax and my water. And I know, for instance, last summer I had them out and my passport as ID when I was selling my records. So when I went up into Notting Hill originally, and of course that didn't work out, and I think I probably had that with me when I went over to the next village to sell them. So I looked in my suitcase, because I'd carried the records in my suitcase, and I know I tucked them in the little pocket inside the suitcase for carting them around. So I've just checked, they're not there. Yeah, this whole process it's like, I think I was mentioning this in the budgeting video, this whole process has shown me that although in a way it's good to be paper free, not using paper for our bills and things, there are times when we actually need copies of our own thing. It's like copies of these bills and stuff, they identify me, they prove that I am me and I live here. So without paper copies of anything, suddenly it's like no one will listen to me or believe me. Anyway, yes, that's for later today. I'm going to do a couple more things with you before I go out. We're going to go in the kitchen, we're going to do the grandfather clock. But this is the other thing. So this is my drawer of manuals. That's the washing machine. So obviously the washing machine is staying, so she can have that. That's the new manuals for the fridge and the freezer. She can have those. That's my iron, my lovely Pulte iron. That's for me. That's my new laptop. That's for me. This drawer I went through about 2 years ago. It's probably the kind of drawer we could all do with going through once a year when we do our paperwork day, our budgeting / paperwork day. But I never think to, because it's tucked away right far under the kitchen, bottom drawer. So when I'm having my paper and budget day, it's all at the bureau. I'm in the living room. But yeah, I think I did go through it a couple of years ago, and I found manuals for things I thought, wow, I long since got rid of it. That's the boiler instructions. But that reminds me, in my A to Z folder, I've got all my invoices for the maintenance record and the installation bill for the second, because in the 21 years I've been here, I've had 2 boilers. I had one when I first moved in, because there was no heating here at all. There was no central heating, there was nothing. So I had it installed, and then a new boiler 7 years ago. So I've got the invoice record of all the maintenance. I've also, in the info pack for her, said, this is my boiler man, he's brilliant, it's a family business, his missus runs the office, his son is also in the business, please use them if when you need your boiler looking at. That's my blender, keep that. That's my DVD player. You know what I haven't done? I should have done. There's no receipt in there. I may do this for future references. Write the date when I've purchased the item, because I think that's about 20 years old. I think I bought it when I moved in here. Date on the manual for no reason other than just one's own personal kind of, trip down memory lane. That's my hi-fi. Oh yeah, I'm with High Fidelity. That's me Sony hi-fi. That's older than this flat. The paper's gone. The paper's gone yellow. Yeah, I've got there's funny little notes in here that I've made for myself about using it and programming it. I think I programmed all the radio stations and creating your own program on the hi-fi. And I've just written in brackets, use doofer. What do you all call that? That's what I call a doofer. That's the doofer, you know, for the DVD. Or I've got a separate doofer for the hi-fi. What do you call it? You know that it's the remote control. That's its proper name. But we all have a different name for it, don't we? What do you call your remote control? Of course it's a doofer. That's my radio, my carbon monoxide. That's... Oh, is that my old computer? I can probably get rid of that now. PC World. 2009. Oh my god. September 2009, that was my previous laptop. See, it really did last me a long time, didn't it? When did I get this one? Last year, 24. Or was that... Oh, it doesn't matter, but I think that can go. So I'm having a bit of a chock out. There's not really... Oh, kitchen... What's that? NutriBullet. I don't need the receipt for that. Oh, when did I get my NutriBullet? Because that was quite a... It's not dated. That's really annoying. Why have you not dated my invoice? I got it on offer for 75 quid. And it was when they'd first come out and they were about 120 quid. Oh no, there is a date on it. 2014, so 11 years ago. The NutriBullet, yeah, I know... Some people might think, oh, it's a bit faddy and all that, and it's, oh, you know, I've always got to have a NutriBullet. But actually, for me, when I bought it, that was when I was working and in nursing, getting up at like 4:30 in the morning. There's no way I could manage breakfast. No way I could eat anything at that time. Didn't really want to eat anything for hours and hours and hours. But what I found with the NutriBullet was, it's like porridge but not hot, so oats and sometimes seeds, so pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, linseeds, and then fruit, or whatever fruit I fancied, and then to make it moist rather than oat milk, use carrot juice to moisten it, whiz it all up, and then because it's got a lid to it as well, I can get it whizzed up at home, take it with me in my bag to work, and then because my travel used to be from about 5:45, I would set out in the morning, get to work about 7:30. Generally by about 7:30, when I was on my last bus of the journey, that's when I'd start to feel a bit peckish for breakfast. So because it's in my bag as a smoothie, I could have a surreptitious little slurp on the bus. I'm not really into eating and drinking and all that on public transport, but you know, it's quite a long way to work, and at least it was getting something down me. And then I'd get to work, actually I'd get to work about 7:15. I'd be changing into my uniform at 7:30, so between 7:15 and 7:30 I can slug the rest of it down me whilst I'm chatting with my friends who were all just arriving for their day of work too. So yeah, it was well worth it. I know 75 quid, it was probably a lot of money to me even then. But yeah, well worth it. And I use it for other stuff too. Now this is the other stuff I wanted. The oven instructions, the hob instructions, the freezer. Well, that's dead as a dodo. That's the old freezer. That's the old fridge. They can be chucked now. And oh, that's my original invoice for the kitchen stuff. January 2005. So I bought in December 2003. Let's say that I moved in January 2004. I didn't, I moved in, but it was a year later, it was a year after moving in that I finally kind of got around to doing the kitchen. So I lived without a kitchen, a proper kitchen, for ages, but just working out the ergonomics of how I wanted to move in the kitchen. Oh, it's funny looking back at this. How much did I pay for all my bits then? Actually, you know what? So this is, I mean, it's 20 years. Oh my God, it's 20 years ago. So I've just bought the fridge and the freezer for here, the replacements, and they were £350 each, roughly. Built-in stuff is always a bit more expensive than the freestanding stuff. So they were £350 each, and then you can add £150 onto each of them for delivery, fitting, recycling of the old ones, plus the tip. So it ended up being like 500. But anyway, the actual units were 350. Back then, 20 years ago, go on, have a guess, have a guess. How much do you think I paid 20 years ago for the fridge and the freezer? Have you had a guess? The fridge was 315. The freezer was 340. That's mad, isn't it? 20 years later, and I've only paid about, you know, a tenner more. I don't know, maybe there weren't so many around then. Maybe it was a bit of a newish thing. I don't know. I'm amazed it hasn't gone up more. What's that? The Plan Light Static. Oh, it's the oven. The oven was £180. The hob, I'm going to keep this. The hob was 117. That's the gas hob. That 117. The washing machine was the most expensive. So again, it's an integrated appliance. That was £405. The replacement one was £285, if I remember correctly. Wow. And then the doors were each 28 quid. I won't go on. The doors were 28 quid. I've got my... I'm going to keep this because in the next flat... So I bought all that from Homebase. What was my final bill? So give me my final bill. Let's see how much I did on the kitchen. So it's the cabinets and the bill's faded. Oh no, it looks like, so this is for all my cabinets. So there are 3 cupboards that don't have appliances in and 3 with appliances. So the total was, I'm going to round it, it's a few pennies shy of £1,700. £1,700 I paid for my kitchen. Blimey. Right, I'm defo keeping that for myself. What was I getting out for my lass? The hob and the oven, that's for her. That can now go. Oh, that's weird. Do you know, I can feel it. I'm pricking. I'm gonna go. Oh my God, I'm like a blooming Vesuvius of tears at the moment. That's just made me feel a bit emotional. And I think it's because, well, I'm bound to feel emotional, aren't I? I've been here a long time and I've loved it and it has loved me. But also because when, that's just taken me by surprise actually. I think this is probably, I really want to have a cry now. I think this is gonna, for God's sake, Vivi, come on. I think this is probably going to happen quite a lot in the next few weeks, isn't it? Oh, for goodness sakes. I'm fine. I just, you know, it's been a bit of an overwhelming time. Sorry, I don't know what this is about. Yeah, it's been a really overwhelming time, and I think, you know, with all, like, the stress, the pressure and stuff, I've sort of kept it bottled up, I suppose. It's that thing of don't let go, because if you let go you might not get control back. And so I think some of this is about relief that the end is in sight of this particular phase, but also I think it's just the fact that I love it here, and I would have been more than happy to stay here till the end of my days if it weren't for the fact of those blooming stairs. Thinking about the kitchen in particular, because when I think about it, I can hear the laughter, because I used a friend of mine, and he had his gang. So a friend of mine who was also an actor, he'd been at the same drama school as me, but we were there at different times. I can't remember how our paths crossed in the first place, but then the bookshop became a sort of a crossroads in our life. So we became friends, not through drama school, but it was through the bookshop. And there was another guy there. So in those days, everyone at the bookshop, Mr. and I was there part-time. We were all artists of some description, and the bookshop was a fantastic way of, it was a part-time job that we could do for a few weeks, and then we could disappear for months on end if we're in a show that's on the road and touring. So one of the lads, he was a poet, of course, an unpublished out-of-work poet, doesn't make much money, so he worked there, and he was really good friends with R, I just call my friend R, who's the actor, who was a friend of mine. And then it turned out that R, and it was before I moved here, R lived over the road, just over the road, not on the main road, on one of the side streets. So when I moved to the area, it was like, oh my goodness, and we're in the same area now, it's brilliant. So it was actually R who, although he trained as an actor, one of his side jobs was carpentry. It's good to have a second trade. And so so there's got to be a joke in there somewhere, isn't there? That the actor and the poet and the actress fit in the kitchen. So yeah, R and the poet got on with putting my kitchen in, which is brilliant. So yeah, I can just remember my memory of that time of the kitchen going in was just everyone laughing and the kitchen going in. So yeah, it's a really happy memory, and yeah, I'll be sad to go. Obviously one takes one's memories with one, memories are in our head still, but that laughter lives here. And in my next flat, that laughter's not going to move with me. Yeah, I'll have the memory, but the laughter, yeah, it stays here. Anyway, wow. Right, now, I need to blow my nose. And then let's get on with a couple more jobs to get this day properly going, instead of me sitting there crying and remembering kitchen prices. Look a bit gothic, don't I? I'm being uplit because the beautiful light that's coming through that window and landing on the floor is bouncing up. Actually, I can't look at it on the floor, it's bouncing up too much. Right, so one of the other things I meant to mention on the sofa, before I start getting overwhelmed, is that the chuck? Yeah, that's the stuff to chuck that was in my manuals drawer. I'm just kind of having a final little check of things. I'm not taking anything extraneous with me. I mean, obviously, if I do take something extraneous, I get rid of it once I've moved. But it just seems to be more sensible. Just get rid of anything you don't need before you go. Now, obviously, last year in the summer, I had that big kind of reorganisation of all my storage in the flat because I was emptying the shed and bringing the shed home. But I wanted to be able to pack everything away really neatly so that when I came to stage the flat for selling, it didn't look like a garage sale here or jumble sale of garden stuff. So I've already done my clutter busting, really. I mean, I'm just not a clutter person. I'm going to use my lovely little, this is such a cute bag, isn't it? It was from a bookshop up in London, and I don't know why I'd gone shopping. I hadn't gone shopping. I accidentally went shopping in a bookshop, second-hand bookshop. I didn't have a bag with me, mortified. So I bought one. It's been great. So, talking of extraneous things and not taking it, I'm also thinking of my removals people as well, breaking their backs. So, there really isn't much now for me to get rid of, but one thing I can do, oh my god, it's filthy dusty. Oh, it's my penny jar, and if you remember, I emptied it. It's going to be noisy. So in my penny jar I can fit 1 pence, pennies, I can fit 5p pieces and 20 pence pieces. Actually, I think the old pound coin used to fit as well, but the new one with that slightly wiffly edge don't go in. Yeah, I emptied it last year. So I normally empty it beginning of December and use it for buying Christmas presents and bits and pieces and some Christmas treats for myself. But Christmas 2023, I didn't use it. I didn't need to. So I left it, and then last summer, so it's normally about 60 quid a year it ends up being, but then last summer, autumn, we had to have the front door here sort of fixed, the communal one, and it was after we'd all paid out for the parapet wall, repair, hadn't got any money. Anyway, my share of the front door, I can't remember what it was now, it was like 120 quid or something. And my penny jar just about covered it. So there won't be much in here now, I don't think, but so is that much? How much do you think's there? Oh, it's got to be a fiver, maybe a tenner. So I'm going to take this out, and it just so happens, where's my list? I need to pick up a bit more. Shall I wait till I've moved? No, because I'm going to do some cooking. Oh, I don't know what to do. This is one of those dilemmas. I'm into little mini dilemma territory. So I was going to get some more Tupperware because a lot of my, the very slim flat ones, I've just got one out of the freezer last night. That's my supper for today, is fasolada. So they're sort of takeaway dishes. I mean, I've had some of them for literally years, because I had them from my nurse colleagues when they had takeaways. I'd say, give me a tub. A lot of them are starting to break, the edges are snapping off, I'm not getting a seal on them. So I did, a couple of weeks ago, I bought some new Tupperware. I just bought 4 pots. So that's about 500 mils, to take the same sort of size. And I was thinking I could use this to buy some more, but do I need to buy stuff that's going to... Anyway, I don't know. I'll decide while I'm out, but that won't happen unless I go out. So I'm going to go to the bank with this and put it in it's like a game, you pour it in the top, and it's like a centrifuge, and you can hear it going, and then it goes ting, and you get a ticket comes out, it's like, yay, I won, you take the ticket to the counter, and pay it into your account, and then we'll do the clock when I get back. Okay, yeah, let's get on and good stuff. Carry on as you were. I'm back home. That was a good little jaunt on my high street. So I went to the bank with my coins. I love that machine. I don't know why I love it so much. You're not going to stay open on your own, are you? I don't know why I love it so much. I think it's really noisy, so everyone in the queue knows what you're doing, but on this screen, like I said, it's like a centrifuge. So as the coins get spat out into the correct size slots to identify the denomination of the coin, on the screen it starts adding up for you. I guessed, like a tenner, maybe 12, 14. So it got to 10, I was like, and then it's like, it's counting up, it got to 15, I thought, brilliant, oh my goodness. It got to 20, and I had to suppress a squeal. Ooh. It got all the way up to £25.62. Amazing. Now, most of that was 20p coins. I'm going to bring you in closer in a second, I'm just going to get this first one up. Most of that was 20 pence coins, 110 20p coins to make £22. But I don't miss them, so I bring you in much closer. I need a second pair of hands to to hold you and to hold the clock. So on my clock face, sorry about the noise of that, can you see I've got these two winding holes. That's what you see the inside is square. That's what my windlass goes into. It's a lovely sound, isn't it? And this is why I have to use my elbow on my arm, because the weight, I'm going to show you lower down a sec, the weight just catches on the woodwork because it's got a slight lean. Actually, I'm going to take it off there before it disappears completely. Hang on a sec, I might have stuffed myself with this because I've stuffed myself. I sent it too high. Let me just, I forgot what I was doing for a minute. I was winding it, there we go, as if, I was starting it. I'm not, I'm winding it to get these ginormous weights up and out of it. Hold on a sec. That's going to roll. Put you facing that way. Let me show you further down. Hold on a sec. This is where I always think, sorry, clonk, 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 you know, let's just get it done, that I could well and truly do with a second pair of hands at times. So, using the other hole to wind up. So, all I'm going to end up with, see how it lurched forward then? My floor is wonky here. And then I can, it really is heavy. Oh, hold on, I'm going to brace it against my body. There we go. And the little winding bits, now the tension's off and they're going to whiz back up there. So now that's, I don't know if you can tell, that's completely, whoops, that's wrong. But what happens when there's tension on it, it doesn't hang off it like that. It sits astride the wire. It's going to be impossible to show you. But while I'm here, I think I'm also, I need to take the cover off. I want to take the pendulum off. I've turned it wonky now. You can see I've turned the, you can see I've turned the pendulum at a 45-degree angle. I need to take the glass, right, I'm going to move you lot back out of the way a second while I try and, let me see if I can pull you back far enough so I can work, but you can see what I'm trying to do. Is that far enough? Let's just bring you up a bit. There we go, you can see, can't you? Right, take my windlass out. Don't lose your windlass, Vivi. And then, oh, cobwebs. Look away if you don't like dust. Look away if you don't like cobwebs. Look at the top. I mean, come on, who dusts the top of their clock when it's that high up and it's behind the fancy bit? So now, I'll just show you what, I'm going to take you off the stand. I can show you what I've caught my pendulum on. So doesn't it look naked now without its top cabinet on? I'm sorry this has been really jerky and but I'm trying to show you things, and oh look, it's a proper Miss Havisham cobweb. See, that's the other weight dangle there. But have you ever seen inside a grandfather clock? Yeah, it's really dusty. That's the chiming bell. So once I'm moved and I'm in position, I will get my clock. Well, I haven't had my clock guy out here for 8-9 years, and he was really pretty old, so he might be retired by now, so I might have to have someone else. But what I will do is I'll have a clean and a setup all in one go. But what I was trying to explain, I'm going to hold it from the bottom. Whoops, sorry. This is my pendulum. I've shoved it all up wrong. I need to twist it. Oh, I've got to put you down. Sorry, emergency. Oh, can you, because I've got it to the stage where it's just going to go flying down. Oh, there we go. Are you with me? Yeah, it's coming flying down through the case now. Oh, and it's quite heavy. So that's the bit I was just mucking around with. So now I can bring that up and out. And here comes the pendulum. Because that's actually quite heavy too. Let's just lie it flat for a second. Yeah, that's heavy. So obviously these sort of heavy parts, what I don't want is when we're in transit, these heavy moving parts swinging around and bashing, and either the weight's smashing through the case of the clock. It already had quite a big hole here, and this was used in a previous location because it just I braced it to the wall in the end using that, but that part of the back of the clock was damaged anyway, and actually where that screws, I haven't put it through any of the original woodwork, so none of the original woodwork has been harmed in the bracing of this clock. Yeah, so obviously the pendulums could swing and smash through the case, the weight, but also with the pendulum, I don't want the pendulum swinging free and yanking some part of the mechanism out of whack. Because you know what, it's lasted over 200 years, I'd like it to last a bit longer. Oh gosh, you really do need a jolly good cleaning, don't you? It's like I've made my grandfather bald now by taking off the top. Right, I won't keep you hanging around the clock any longer. I'm just going to go and get I'm going to give it a quick dust and then get that back up on top and tuck my bits away somewhere safe and make sure they don't get left behind during the move. I've actually just shoved the two weights just underneath in those perfectly proportioned cubbies. So yeah, I don't ever sort of come into this corner. My dummy's in front, so there's no chance of tripping. And then I've just popped the pendulum into the corner so they're obvious for when I move. Also, what's obvious is there's a lot of dust. So part of the plan before I move, I've got a countdown thing and it will include a really thorough clean. So I can't remember what day of the countdown I've put the clean for, but until I've got a date, I can't start the countdown. Oh my goodness, such gorgeous light today. I love that the light is coming back and we're having these sunny days. It's made me really warm. Sorry, and that's probably dust is making me cough, but yeah. Quite warm with that quick dash out to the high street. I did a few other bits and bobs. Chuffed with having 25 quid in my bottle. I can't remember if I said it by the clock. The clock suddenly became, okay, you monster. The thing is, I do all that without batting an eyelid. If I didn't have a camera in my hand, or if I wasn't trying to set up for filming. Anyway, yeah, the coin thing at the bank, the way it works is once it's finished spinning and totaling, it spits out a voucher with the amount printed on, and you take that to the counter and they pay it into your account. So yes, a few bits and bobs. What else? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, I'm back home now. I've remembered to do the bits with the clock. I can't wait. One of the things I'm really looking forward to once I've moved is having the clock going again and chiming. And because it will be in the living room, because I have a separate bedroom at my new flat, it doesn't matter when it's chiming at night. That will be really, really lovely to have the old boy ticking away again. The rest of today, I am now going to do really, really boring stuff, which none of you need to hang around for. Oh, I am quite warm. Yeah, it's time to get stuck into making phone calls, making notes of account numbers and bits and pieces, and starting that process of telling people that you're not going to get any more money out of me for this gaff because I'm going to be on a new gaff. You need to get money out of me for the new gaff. All right, my lovelies, until the next one. I'm really sorry. I mean, I haven't looked at the footage yet, but I'm really sorry. That's going to be a lot of jerky, squeaky, clunky stuff for the clock. But I just really wanted you to sort of see the process and see inside, because I know that there will be many folk who've never seen inside a grandfather clock or seen how one works. So I wanted to give you that opportunity. Right, enough. I need to do some dusting. I'll see you again soon. Until then, please look after yourselves and make the most of these intermittent, admittedly intermittent, but when we have them, make the most of these beautiful, bright days. I'm going to curl up on the floor in that patch of sun like a cat in a moment. Have a nap. I'm not. I'm going to get on the phone. All right, lovelies, until next time, cheerio.